God, it's just good whamming. All right. What do we have next? We are doing Omelette Route, Chapter 3, Chapter 2, Number 2. I think this was part of the June Egbert Jam. This is called the Omelette Route. It is a continuation of the meat route. So, um, we have John Egbert, Fell.
Oh, I'm back.
Hello.
All right.
I'm
Hello.
catching everybody up on where we are on the Omelette Route,
Oh, cool.
which is John Egbert got Lord English Tooth to the torso, and then somehow through plot shenaniganery survived, and was dumped back into the meat timeline, and in
Yeah.
the last chapter met up with Roxy.
All right.
And then this is the Roxy that uses he him pronouns.
Okay. I see we have a Rose, a Roxy, a Dave, a Jake, a Dirk, a June, a Kanaya, a Jade,
Full House.
a narrator. Yeah, I'll do June, Kanaya, Jade, Jake.
Yeah, that's every single human kid plus Kanaya.
Every
It looks
human kid
like.
plus. Well, not Dirk because you do Dirk. Oh, we have a
No, I
new
mean
reader.
in the chapter is every single
Oh,
human
in the
kid plus
chapter. Yeah,
Kanaya.
yes, that's
Um,
correct.
it's just it's NBD of
Oh,
I
Anna's
was
here.
Anna. Oh
Hey.
hey, let me
Hey,
switch to the thing that says he's talking. I guess. Sorry for brief tunnel
Anna,
vision.
would you like to narrate this fic? Because we've both been narrating the whole time.
Sure.
Hello.
I just
we're on.
finished
We're on.
recording a bunch of stuff, so I thought I'd hop in.
Yeah.
Let me
If you want
actually pull up the
to,
fic list and all that.
if you want to introduce, I'll send you the link in chat. If you want to introduce yourself to our audience.
Hello, I am Anna, aka Articulately Composed. I write music. I
Do right.
wrote a musical about ancestors. You should all listen to it.
You did write a musical about the ancestors that everybody should listen to.
I also do a lot of Hive Swap content on my YouTube channel, and I'm very excited for the 25th.
Yeah, that's
big,
not that long from now. What we saw was pretty fucking good.
Yeah,
Oh,
big
hey,
day,
thanks,
big
Alex.
day for Hive Swap.
Oh,
All right,
okay.
so yeah, if you want to do narration on this, and then Bucky and I can divvy up the lines.
Sure.
Because that'd give Bucky, Dave, Roxy, Dirk,
And Jake.
and Jake. If you wanna, I can do Jake. It doesn't.
Well, if you have June, or I guess John, if you have John, Jade, Rose, and Kanaya,
Rose.
and I have 4.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, I think that covers everybody.
It does. Yes.
Wait, no, we're missing somebody because all the human kids plus Kanaya is 9, and we each have 4.
Who's missing? We've got June. I'll do June. Roxy, you do
Rose?
Roxy. There is a Rose. Kanaya, I'll do Kanaya.
Rose
Jade,
has,
I'll
like,
do Jade.
3 lines.
1, yeah.
Dave has a few.
Dirk, you'll do Dirk. There's Jake. You also want to do Jake.
Yeah.
And then Rose, I'll do the 1, 2, 3 Rose lines. And Dave, there's like 2 lines of Dave. Yeah, I think we're good. All right.
All right.
And you introduce this one.
There's my mouse. Yeah, I think we kind of already.
Nice.
Yeah, this fic is also going to go in a June direction, but hasn't it's gonna slow burn its way there.
Yeah, it's a decent length. I think it's like 133,000 words.
Yeah.
Making it the second longest fic that we're reading today.
The first one being your own.
Yes.
Should I read the tags and stuff, or should I just jump right in?
I think we've already done that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we sort of already looked at him.
Okay, cool.
All right. You only realize you've fallen unconscious when you come to. Everything feels extra fuzzy and your head pounds as you stand to your feet. It takes a moment for your vision to stop swimming before you can take in the scene. Past the ragged hole, you can see into what you assume is the ship's main deck. Chaos is unfolding. All your friends are there in some configuration or another. Jade's floating several feet in the air, crackling with green lightning. Dave's standing by warily as Jane heals a large gash across the side of Karkat's face. Terezi is leaning out of one of the shattered windows, seemingly unperturbed by outer space's lack of atmosphere, a sight which makes you feel a stab of emotion you fight to repress. Rose looks fucking furious as she locks needles with a robot version of herself. And on the far end, by the wide window that overlooks an alien planet, Jake English has his arms wrapped around Dirk's waist in a death grip, as a bubble of pure white hope envelops the two of them. It looks like a shit show, to put it politely. A second later, you realize you don't see Roxy anywhere in this menagerie. With something like a cold dread, you turn your gaze to the debris scattered around your feet. Roxy lies there in a puddle of blood, crushed by a hunk of metal that might be a door, his neck snapped at an impossible angle. Dead. Clearly. Horror spikes through your body.
Roxy!
An instant later, Roxy's body is overcome with an aura of colors that overlap and collide into each other. He levitates up off the ground, dead limbs hanging in the air. Briefly, you think you hear the ticking of a clock. Then all at once, Roxy snaps back into rigidity and stops glowing. His eyes open and he turns to face you midair, a troubled expression on his face.
Yowzers, that was an awful experience. 0 out of 10 do not recommend dump-ass random resurrections.
Oh yeah, right. God tier mechanics. Being crushed by an explosion you don't understand hardly constitutes as heroic or just. You let out a strange laugh as the tension rushes out of you.
Holy shit, you scared me half to death.
Oop, my bad, lol.
Lol?
Sorry, I got like major post-revival euphoria right now. I feel buzzed as shit.
You glance up at Roxy and see that, yes, in fact, his pupils are blown out like mini black holes and there's a strange quality to his grin. It's the expression of someone high as a kite.
Don't worry, this isn't my first BS death rodeo. It passes relatively quickly.
Shrug. You wouldn't know. You haven't died a non-death since you were sucker stabbed by Jack Noir when you were 13 in a fight you really don't want to think about right now. It was so long ago you can't remember what it felt like. Also, you're pretty sure you're still vaguely traumatized by that whole period of your life. You let Roxy deal with his resurrection come down in relative privacy and instead navigate your way through this bizarre. You get the sense that all of this is all of grave significance, but you're still not quite feeling like yourself. So you find yourself observing in a pseudo-dissociative state. If you ignore the gore and violence, it might even be somewhat absurd. Yeah, that's the word you're looking for here. Next to you, you watch as Rose delivers a swift kick to the face of the Rosebot, and Kanaya runs up from behind with a guttural, feral roar. She whips out her chainsaw and bifurcates the automaton with extreme prejudice. Jeesh.
No more of your fucking games, Strider.
Kanaya doesn't stop when the robot does. She keeps on barreling forward, face and body coated in robot oil and other viscera, and uses that momentum to perform an acrobatic fucking pirouette that culminates in her planting her lips on Rose's, hungrily and passionately dropping her wife into a dip kiss. The chainsaw growls next to them, almost at a volume to rival the sound rumbling from Kanaya's throat as she goes in even harder. In fact, it starts getting hot and heavy pretty quickly, so you just sort of sidle over to the next event. There's Dave and Karkat engaging in some kind of argument with Jane now that Karkat's been fixed up. So heated they seem blind to everything else. Terezi is single-mindedly focused on whatever's outside the window, the dead jade slippers she's wearing reflecting the ship's lighting in glittering spots all along the wall. And you don't even think you know how to approach the not-so-vaguely homoerotic mutual manhandling between Dirk and Jake, which really only leaves...
John?
She notices you first and tackles you with the force of a meteoric shot put. Your back smashes into the ground, hard enough that you utter out a...
Oof.
That goes ignored in Jade's excitement.
You're okay?
Her tail wags like a metronome out of control. It strikes you as odd for the moment, because didn't the Jade you picked up from the Doom session not have a tail? What was with that? You suppose it really doesn't matter either way? Jade pulls you off the ground and crushes you in a hug that reminds you just how strong she is. You take a look at her face and see tears glistening in her eyes, her bright green, very much alive eyes.
We all thought you were gone forever, John. I didn't think I'd ever see you again.
She squeezes you tighter with a sniffle. You swear you hear your pores behind the crack, but don't mention it. This is clearly a heavily emotionally charged moment, and you making a dumb comment about your sister's freakish strength would kill the mood. So instead, you say,
I missed you too. Sorry for ceasing to exist. Just don't do it again, dummy.
Jade presses her nose to yours in an act of semi-canine, semi-sisterly affection, and yeah, actually, it hits you right now how awful the whole ordeal was. You wrap your arms around her in return, and your voice cracks when you speak again.
God, I was so fucking lonely. I felt like the entire concept of me was fading away. Like I couldn't even be allowed to be remembered by you.
You don't know how to articulate yourself any further. You don't really know what all these emotions you're feeling mean yourself. You just know that in this moment, you're so glad not to be on your own. It only hits you that in the middle of a crisis is maybe not the best time to fall to pieces when you hear a familiar voice speak out.
Holy shit. John Egbert? You're back? You managed to come back. How?
You turn to face Dirk, squinting as your unprotected eyes gaze into Jake's hope bubble. His jaws clenched and his fists grapple for the katana dropped on the floor in front of him. He struggles to reach it, but Jake's grip is too strong.
Ugh, get off me. I need to fix this. Do y'all really want us all to nosedive into the irretrievable depths of Fanon? Do you really want us to become so inauthentic that nobody gives a shit? Deck, no, I'm not letting you play bad guy again. I'm not letting you destroy your friends. I'm not letting you destroy yourself.
Dirk tries stomping on Jake's foot, but misses by a fraction of an inch. In retaliation, the radius of Jake's hope bubble grows by another few meters.
Your stupid fucking gay-ass hope bubble is making it impossible to see the narrative fold. Turn it off already.
You get the sense that Dirk's really panicking now that he's pretty much lost all control. Also, you're really fucking surprised Jake had this in him? Not bad for a terminal weenie, you guess. Not that you can talk on that front.
John!
Dirk twists his head free from the fledgling chokehold Jake is attempting. He jostles back and forth violently enough that his pointy shades slip off his face and fall to the ground. Beneath the mask are bloodshot eyes raw with the fear of a cornered animal. Eyes that are trained on you and you alone.
Get the fuck out of this narrative! Things can't continue to matter if you're not dead!
His voice does a funny dance up and down octaves that shatters the final veneer of what you assume is some dumb anime facade. He also is shouting enough to draw the attention of the others.
John?
Wait, it actually worked, holy fuck.
Your friends are rounding on you one by one, casting a metaphorical kind of spotlight. You feel seen. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm no longer dead.
Dirk gives a full body eye roll.
Oh, for the love... This reunion is touching and all, but utterly meaningless. For what Roxy neglected to realize in all their efforts to... His efforts to bring John back from the brink is that his irrelevance isn't something you can just get rid of. The latter his they're referring to John, not Roxy. It's more like a metaphysical hole, eroding more and more at the foundation of his essence. Draining the plug will only buy you so much time, like placing a band-aid on a festering wound that's already past the point of salvation. You're already starting to feel less tangible, John. That's the thing about this kind of poison. It's already... That's enough out of you, mister!
Jake clamps a firm hand over Dirk's mouth. The semi-hypnotic narrative spell he was weaving immediately breaks, absorbed into the sterilizing, miasmic aura of hope.
I can't do any of your fancy ultimate self-sleight of hand, storytelling trickery, but I can put my foot down and say it's past time for Dirk Strider to get off his high horse and stop playing puppet master to avoid dealing with his own problems.
Dirk flips the middle finger at Jake and glares up at him with unfiltered rage. Jake glares back just as harshly. The hope bubble is tossing their hair around like a wind tunnel. Jake's grip tightens around Dirk's mouth, enough that his knuckles begin to go white. An electric tension jumps between the pair.
Jake, Dirk...
Behind you, Roxy rushes toward the scene, gesturing wildly. At least it seems like he's back from his post-death life trip. Naked concern is on his face, the concern of someone seeing one of his friends run the real risk of killing the other.
Stop!
Rose clasps a hand on Roxy's shoulder, her expression flat. You take a look at her. She's thinner and paler than you remember, with odd bags around her eyes. Her sear of light pajamas hide it well, but her cheeks are hollow and concave. It strikes you that maybe in the time since you last saw her, not a single thing of nutritional value has passed her lips.
Hold on. I think they're on the cusp of sorting their shit out themselves. Or at the very least, transforming their destructive anger into something more colliginous.
At first, you don't understand. Then you take another look inside the hope bubble. Dirk and Jake still both have their eyes trained exclusively on each other, eyes infused with a blatant hostility. But you also see how Jake's pupils are dilating, how Dirk's free hand is inching toward the expanse of Jake's exposed thigh, how there's an almost pleasure on Dirk's face at this near strangulation he's experiencing.
Oh my fucking god.
Dave face palms with an agonized groan. When the moment comes where Jake's hand slips from Dirk's mouth to his throat and their lips connect, Dave's wandered over to Karkat and buried his face in the troll's sweater. You too feel the urge to look away from the hot mess unfurling in front of you. So this is how the great meta-narrative existential crisis is resolved. Not with an epic battle, not with a grand artistic statement, but with sloppy black raw makeouts inside a giant gay hope bubble. The moment is so fucking weird that when Vriska Circuit herself crash lands a second spaceship through the window with an unhinged shriek, you aren't surprised at all.
Oh my god.
God. Okie dokie.
I've already left kudos on that fix.
Same. That was
Oh
very
my
good.
god.